Hi everyone, Robbo here. You're listening to the Blues Focus podcast. Keep right on.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Blues Focus podcast. Before we get into today's podcast, I'd just like to give a big shout out to our current patrons. And if you'd like to join these names in the brand new Blues Focus Hall of Fame, you can join our Patreon page for just £1 a month. Perks included will be monthly giveaways and early access to guest pods. The link will be in the description anyway for our Patreon packages. Well, that's enough from me. Let's get straight into today's Blues Focus podcast. Thank you for joining us as always.
Hello and welcome to the Blues Focus podcast with me, your host, John Graham. Once again, many thanks for taking the time to download this pod and for viewing on YouTube. And as we always say, please subscribe. We've gone up considerably over the last sort of month or two and really want to keep that going. Getting lots of views to all the content. And at the moment, the comments are pretty solid. So let's hope that continues after this pod. The time will tell, I guess, on that one. But after sort of nearly 24 hours to maybe reflect on the game, where we a very hard fought battle. So we'll do that in depth as we always do. But first of all, introductions. Carl, how are you, mate?
Good, mate. Thank you. Yeah, really good. Still on a bit of a buzz from last night, to be honest.
Good. Glad to hear it. And Tom, you've been enjoying yourself since the victory?
I have, yes. And I'm good, thank you, mate. Just all positive vibes at the moment. Really happy with yesterday's result, as I'm sure we'll dig into shortly. Oh, I think we lost him. There we go.
Well, and let's, without further ado, oh God. Okay. Well, okay. forgive the poor signal. So yeah, let's get involved. Sort of, I guess, high expectations going into the game, based on what we've done in the previous three games. And again, I think in the last pod we were saying we really didn't know what to expect from team selection. So on that note, Carl, when you saw the team, what do you think?
I'm enjoying Bowyer's bingo, to be fair, probably more than Crankers, I'm not going to lie. I think it was similar to the Swansea game. Just couldn't figure out quite what he was doing, with McGree there, which is fully deserved on the plaudits, obviously, from the under-23s game. And he's obviously been working really hard in training, but just couldn't quite figure out what he was going to do with him. Other than that, I think that's probably really the only major surprise. I think it was obvious that Scott was going to come back into the team, because I think a fully fit Scott Hogan is probably one of the first names on the team sheet, to be honest, at the moment. But yeah, I was okay. Again, I had this conversation with my old man before the game, because I always give him a call sort of when the teams come out and stuff. And he was like, to be honest with you, I don't really care who he picks. I've got confidence in everyone. As long as San Jose and Clayton aren't anywhere near it, I'm fine. And I kind of echo that, really. I still felt really positive.
To be fair, mate, to be fair, I think he could make them a player at the moment.
Yeah, precisely. It's that's exactly where it is, isn't it? That's where the mood is of the camp. Like, it looks like he could bring on anybody and they'll all do a job for him. But yeah, no, I was, you didn't quite know what to expect. But other than that, yeah, fairly happy with it. I thought it was fairly standard, and I thought this team is definitely going to give him a game. And certainly, I think that's, for the most part, what we got.
Yeah. And Tom, obviously, there are a few changes. Did you expect those? I know we talked a little bit about Cosgrove, maybe for Juki, and a couple of injuries, but in all, were you happy with the selection?
I was happy with the selection, yeah. I think I expected us actually to go back to 4 at the back, but I don't blame him for not changing the system based on the fact that it worked against Swansea. And he said before, don't change what works. And I think we all feel the same way. But I don't think this is going to be a permanent formation for us. I think we will rotate depending on who we play. And I think he got it right again yesterday. I thought the lineup was great. I think you guys all know how happy I was to see McGree back in the team, because I do rate him quite highly. I believe my word was saucy in the group chat when I saw McGree was in the squad. So I said that word along with a picture of McGree. So I was proper happy about that. And to see him at left wing back as well was crazy. We'll get into the performance shortly, but I was very, very impressed. But no, it was obvious Hogan was going to be back in there. I think Bowyer's a big fan of Scott Hogan, and hopefully we'll see more of Scott and get him back to his best soon enough. But these things take time, it's still quite fresh. Obviously they've had the international break, but everything's still quite fresh in the mind, and Bowyer's not quite had the time yet to completely settle in. But overall, I was happy with the selection. I thought it was solid, and that proved to be when we actually played as well. Bit disappointing not to see Harper back in again, but I understand it because he has played a lot of games recently. However, I didn't really have anything bad to say about the lineup. I was happy with it. I've never been a fan of five at the back. I never will be. But Bowyer has made me feel confident in seeing Blues play in that style. And you know what? I was thinking about this today. Dong Ren has wanted Blues to play five at the back for so goddamn long that maybe, just maybe, Dong Ren can just bite the bullet and accept that he was wrong to bring in Karanka, and that a man like Bowyer has come in and made five at the back work like that because he's done it properly and the right way.
Yeah, I think if Dong wants five at the back, that's a really good fucking reason not to do it. So hopefully we'll go back. Agree. Obviously, we've been saying it for a long time. He hasn't had a bad game. He hasn't had a bad game for the club. What I love about him, he just does the simple things really well. He very rarely loses possession. Looks really comfortable on the ball. He's one of these players that he seems to have more time than a lot of others. He's never rushed, and we do. You always need players like that. I'm with you, Tom. I'm disappointed that Harper's not in the side. It will be interesting to see what happens with Sunjic over the next 6 games. Can't doubt his work rate, but there's going to come a point where I think we're probably going to be looking to create a little bit more than maybe we did against Brentford. But let's be honest again. They're a top side, very good side, free scoring side. So. Yeah, probably. I was surprised with McGree, massively surprised, but very happy with it. I'm happy. I think you've got to give him time. He's a player that you just got to say that it's your shirt. As long as you perform it, it's always going to be yours. So I was glad he was in. And then other than that, I suppose there wasn't really any surprises. Hogan was going to come in, especially off scoring that pen in the previous game under such pressure. So we would have been feeling great about coming in. But other than that, it was, and at no point was I sort of concerned about the lineup or concerned about playing Brentford, to be honest, which, again, as you say, Carl, I mean, Christ, what a difference. Well, it's not even, a month, really? If you look at our very lowest ebb to now, it's night and day. It really is. And, Christ almighty, if we hadn't got those 7 points, it's another side that's on 35 points in the bottom. So, yeah, and in really bad shape. So no, I was happy with the lineup, and then obviously we went into the first half. And Tom, how do you think we started? Do you think that they sort of adapted the players that came in? Do you think we sort of got off on the right foot?
Yeah, I thought we were fantastic in that first half. I think the first half was certainly better than the second, but that doesn't mean I thought we had a bad second either. I'll come on to that, but I definitely thought we had a good second half. But overall, first half, I was very, very impressed. I think first 5 minutes or so, bit on and off. But we got into the game, and then for 20 minutes straight, really, we were all over them. Like, they couldn't really get out their own half. All the chances were coming Blues' way. Gardner's had a massive chance. I honestly thought he'd scored it at the time. I was gutted that it didn't find the back of the net. He was just unlucky. Scott Hogan was fantastic in the first half. Really, really, really impressed by him. I don't think Brentford knew how to deal with him in that first half. However, they did more so in the second. But in that first half, Scott Hogan was brilliant, probably going on to my man of the match at that point. Because he was really putting himself about, getting in good position, playing good passes. McGree at left wing back, the skill on the ball he has, and just gliding past players with ease. It was fantastic. And do you know what? I was really, really happy to see in that first half some of the quick passes from Blues. the quick passing and control. Overall, we looked so much more comfortable on the ball. And I was just overall really, really impressed with how we were putting the ball about a bit. And we didn't look shaky. Like, we were very, very comfortable. We looked like a natural ball playing team. And it was really refreshing. Like, I know he's mentioned so many times in interviews, like, he wished we passed the ball better, but he didn't mention it in the last interview. And I think that's because that Brentford game was probably the best passing game we've seen from Blues for a long time. And we really looked to dominate possession when we had it. So overall, I was really happy with the first half, bar probably the little scare with Sergi Canos. But Etheridge made himself big and Canos missed the sitter. So I'm happy at the end of the day, really. No complaints there from me.
And Carl, any surprises with you in the first half about the way we played it, or was it more of the same from the previous fixture?
I think it's more of the same from the previous. I think Brentford were probably a bit more wise to it. They've obviously had a bit more time to watch the way that Bowyer wants Blues to play with the ball and closing down the spaces and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think, it was still the same. We're still denying them that space. I think my only concern was we looked a little bit vulnerable on the counter, but then Brentford are just a quality team. They were just so quick with that ball going from back to front. But yeah, other than that, I think the biggest revelation was Riley McGree at left wing back. I think he was phenomenal. Yeah. And considering I think Bowyer came out and said after the game he's never played there before, you could see there was a little bit of shakiness there early on, but it's a brand new position for the kid. Of course, he's going to be a bit shaky. But after that, as soon as he kind of got used to what he was meant to be doing and communicating a bit better with Pedersen out there, I think he was much better and a lot more solid. And for me, that's the biggest bonus, because going into these last 6 games, it appears we've got players who are actually quite versatile. They can't just play attacking mid or centre mid. You've got players that are willing to do that job at left wing back.
Yeah.
I think, and I agree with Tom, I think Scott Hogan was just fantastic. He was everywhere. And that little ball, I definitely thought he'd miss his shot at first, to be honest, but that was such a clever little ball. Scott Hogan of 10 weeks ago wouldn't have played that.
Yeah.
Not even that long ago. And they just look a different. I know we've said it now every time since the fucking Reading result, but they just look a different team. I think watching that game, I wouldn't necessarily say you think we were on Brentford's level necessarily, but you wouldn't think we are where we are.
No, not at all.
And that's one of the biggest things. And I think it's just phenomenal. And the way the players have responded to Bowyer is just fantastic, and just shows the real confidence is instilled in them, to be honest.
You said on the pod on the pre-all season in by Tony, credit where it's due. I thought they marshaled him really well. I mean, he's a lump. He reminds me a little bit of Boney. Played for Swansea, went to Man City. Big, strong lad, like proper, just very difficult to get off the ball. He's quick. I think he's learnt a lot from his time at sort of Peterborough, and obviously before that at Newcastle. But you can tell he's got it. There's no doubt in my mind about that. So I was really impressed how we handled him. I would agree with you, Carl, that I think sometimes in the channels we were a little bit shaky. We got a little bit narrow because obviously we were playing more the 2 sort of wide guys of the 3, and that pocket of space in behind the likes of Halilovic and McGree. I think it took a little bit of time. But having said that, if you have the cover, as long as you close down the space quick enough, then and you're well marshaled, it won't ever cause you any trouble. I think it was probably a little bit of a hangover from Karanka, thinking, shit, they've got loads of space, they're bearing down on the defence, and it's going to cause issues. So I do think there's, watching this Blues side now, it's very difficult to detach yourself from what we've been served up for so many weeks and weeks and weeks. And now it just feels like there's a completely different dynamic. And I think it is going to take time, because, it's easy to say, oh, typical Blues. Well, I don't know what this typical Blues side is, because for me, this typical Blues side is fucking 100%. They don't tend to make too many mistakes. And having the confidence of accepting that as the norm is going to take a little bit of time for me, if I'm being honest. I think that, Hogan was a lot for Cosgrove to come in. I think he needs a rest. I don't see the point of spending that money when he's our biggest signing by a way. I think he needs to go. I really do. And other than that, obviously, you can't doubt Sunjić's work rate and the same with Gardner. I thought they were a menace and a pest. Stop Brentford from doing what they want to do. And I'm with you. I think McGree, what a left peg he has got. Because when you're playing left wing back, you need to be able to clear your lines. And it's like a sledgehammer. He can seriously, he's got lovely deft touches in and around in close areas, nice 1 and 2 touch passing. But when he's in the shit, he can let it go. And that's a massive, massive plus. And, even in that first half, if Bowie was even contemplating Bella as a wing back, there's no way on God's earth that Bella has the defensive capabilities that McGree displayed. And I think he's given him a massive headache. I really do. Which is great. As a wing back, Pedersen's tried it and he's just not good enough. He's not good enough on the ball. And now I think we found somebody that, if he is going to position wing backs, fine. I think he's got a good one there on the left-hand side. But again, just going back to, yes, they had chances. Were they massively better than us? No, I thought we shaded it. Gardner's, I don't know. I think it was quite difficult. It was quite a tight angle, really. But I think he'll be disappointed he didn't score. And Djukovic missed, for him, what I think was a fairly decent chance, a free header after about half an hour, that he just tried to get too much power on it and he didn't need to. But all in all, first half, I thought it was very, very, very similar to the previous game, where we let them have a go. They couldn't break us down, really, apart from one chance. I thought Etheridge was excellent at what he does, which is the best shot stoppers in the league, if not next. But yeah, I thought no complaints at all in the first half, and I was relatively confident going into the second. So, Carl, do you think anything did change in that second half, or was it more of the same?
Well, Bo's come out himself and said he changed his shape. He went to back four and pushed McGree on a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Brentford just turned it on from they really, really turned it up. And it was at times, it was almost spellbinding to watch. And it's hard to see how they're not closer to the teams above them.
Yeah.
Yes, it is because they keep throwing points away, but they were just phenomenal, and they were the Brentford team that have blown teams away this season, and I was still confident in them because, they put up against, even against Watford at times, even though we were 3 down, the defence was solid. But I think there were a couple of times where there was a bit, maybe slightly overawed at how good the play was and how quick Brentford broke. But I think, what a quality keeper. I think you've just alluded to it, John. What a quality keeper we've got in Etheridge. Some of the stops he's made in the second half are fantastic. And the lads were just back to putting their bodies on the line, typical Blues. I think that's going to epitomise what Blues are. Bodies on the line, fight, grit. We've come here to get some out of this game, be it the 3 points or 1, we're getting that. And I think that was just absolutely solid. And then obviously someone really needs to give Lecco a bit of shooting practice, because I genuinely thought that was going to be it. When he went through, I was like, this is written for him to bury this.
Not to be.
But I just think, again, it was just positive. Okay, Cosgrove didn't get the minutes again that we maybe wanted him to, but again, 85th, 86th minute, on comes a striker. 0-0 away to Brentford, who are third in the league. And that, again, it's that whole mentality shift, isn't it? The players know that we're not going to... Yeah, okay, there may be times where we do shut up and play to protect the points and things like that. But we were bringing on another striker at that time. He's still going for it, in my view. And I think all the other substitutions I probably agreed with as well. Obviously, it's a shame that we've lost Terrell to a hamstring injury by the look of it. Which, given Terrell's record, that's probably him for the season, I would think. Which is a shame, because it looked like he was starting to play his way back in. But yeah, I think other than that, I think they need to maybe regain a bit more. Try not to be so overawed so easily, but they were able to change the shape comfortably and adapt to it.
Totally agree. I do think, just briefly on that point around yeah, not sort of being overawed, and but having said that, Christ, Brentford at home, they've always been there or thereabouts. They were unlucky last season. They've recruited well. I mean, the bench is ridiculous. The guys that came on were just probably look better than the players that sort of came off. But yeah, I do think that there is an element of perspective, but it is difficult as any fan when you've got that momentum and such positive vibes. It's hard to keep that in check. So, Tom, what were the highlights for you in the second half?
I think Carl touched on it all really well. Just quickly on Terrell, I was really gutted to see him come off injured, to be honest, because I have a feeling that could be the end of his second stint at Blues. If out of all the players that are out of contract this summer, right now, I feel like he's probably the one that's in the most risk of not getting offered a new deal. However, having said that, Lee Bowyer has said in an interview that he really likes the look of Terrell from training. And he said that he's one of those players that I've looked at in training and thought, Joe, I actually really like you and your style of play. So he has that in his favor even. It's just, I don't know. It's just whether Lee Bowyer kind of keeps that faith in John Terrell, really. But these injuries, they have to kind of be stopped, and if they can't be, then I don't think it's a risk worth taking. But no, overall, I was reasonably happy with the second half. Like I said earlier, I don't think it was as good as our first half, but that was genuinely just because Brentford turned it up. Like they came out thinking, right, okay, we really need to put our foot on the gas here. We've not been good enough, and they showed that. They showed that they were a side coming out to prove a point, but they couldn't break us down. We were fantastic, and Etheridge made some brilliant saves from some Ivan Toney efforts. Really impressed with that, and the Mbeumo header as well. Good save, probably the best save out of the bunch. So no, overall, very happy with Etheridge's performance. Going forward, we still look like we carried a threat. Out of all the games I've seen us play this season or ever when Mark Roberts has been at this football club, I thought his throw-ins were the most effective they've ever been in a match. We certainly looked like we might actually score from one for a change. And I tell you what, Cosgrove literally just jumps like a second sooner than he gets ahead on that one in the last 5 minutes, and he might score his first Blues goal. I had a feeling that was going to happen, but unfortunately it didn't. But we still posed a threat. I feel like we still posed a threat at all times. And I thought after the match, Thomas Frank's comments were, as usual, like they were at the start of the season, very salty and pathetic. I didn't understand it. I just don't understand how he can sit there as a manager and analyze a game like that and come out with comments like that. Because I don't think we looked to come out to draw that game. I think we looked to come out to get something from the game, whether that be a draw or a win, because we had phases in that game better than they did to actually go and win that game. And I thought we were the better side, in all honesty. Like, I don't know how he could openly say that, but that's just Thomas Frank, really, isn't it? He's one of them salty managers that just doesn't like drawing or losing. He's very up his own arse. But here we are. Overall, very happy with the second half, and I thought we adjusted well to the change of shape, and it was positive because even the change of shape was an attacking change of shape. We looked to go and win the game, and yet again bringing on strikers or attacking players late on because we want to win the game. So I don't understand Thomas Frank's comments personally, and I thought the subs weren't bad, but Lico, oh my God, he just has to do better there. I feel like he was really caught in two minds of whether to kind of put the ball across to Cosgrove or just go for it. Personally, there's one point where when the ball's about to hit his foot, he's got so much space. If he leathers that, he might actually put it top bin or just get it in the goal or get it on target. Personally, I think he should have shot rather than to look to pass across goal, because I feel like the Brentford players were always going to get in front of Cosgrove, unfortunately. So I just wish Lico had just had a bit more confidence and put some venom behind it, really. I think that's all that was missing. But overall, no, very, very, happy with the performance, and I think the lads did us all proud overall in the entire game. And a point away at Brentford and a clean sheet is fantastic, really. I'm not going to argue with it. I was very happy.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the manager's concerned, he's a physio, isn't he? Wasn't he a physio in a previous life? He's not. Take absolutely no fucking exactly. I mean, somebody said looks like the owner of a vegan coffee shop, and I'd go with that. I think as far as Lecco, and I'm not going to get negative because fucking hell, as you say, Brentford away exceptional. To a man, again, Akililovic got really frustrated because I think we were quite pragmatic and he's always looking to be positive. And there was a part in the second half where he got the ball at feet. He was going one way, going the other way, going one way, going the other way, and just looking for a forward pass. And there was just nothing. And I think he got quite frustrated with that. I don't think he quite understood I do think the game plan was to maybe protect what we've got maybe a little bit more than go forward. Sunjic said to my eldest, he's run 15 kilometers that game. I mean, fuck me, he's Duracell bunny. He never ever stops. I mean, again, I'm not gonna be a shithouse and say I think he's Maradona, but he on the ball.
I thought the criticism of him after the game from some fans was a bit unfair.
To be honest, Tom, I haven't seen that. I will give him his due. He was a big part of us getting a point. No doubt. Would he be a big part of us going and getting 3? I doubt it. I don't think he has the capacity. I think Harper has. And I think that's something we have to look at. With Lecco, it's not the miss for me. It's the amount of fucking times he was offside, having just come off the bench. And you're like, mate, just use your head. You can't be knackered. Just, look at the line. You've got a chance to make a name for yourself. The manager obviously really rates you. Just basics. And that for me is so frustrating. Well, yeah, I mean, his demeanour when he's just walking around the pitch as a centre half, I'm loving that. I'm absolutely loving it because it's sort of stroll in the park, and when he comes alive, he's a handful. I just think there's a couple of things he needs to work on, and like I said, for me. It's just not acceptable. But so that's a bit of a gripe. I was disappointed with him, not just for the goal, but I just thought when he came on, he could have been better.
He always does something brilliant, but then does something to balls it up.
Yeah, I think there are people ahead of him. I just do. It's one game on, one game off from where we're at. We need the side, and we've all said it. It's consistency. We sort of know what to expect now, and we need to keep that. There's no room for carrying a player that might feel one day that he can do it, and then another day he can't really be asked, or he's just not focused to do it. Can't be asked is probably a bit harsh. Terrell's a disappointment. There's a hell of a player in there, but I just think he's and I'm with you, Tom. I don't think we'll see him again, which is a shame because I was quite excited when we signed him again.
Yeah.
And then I think, as I mentioned, Cosgrove. I think he has to start. We've just got to see. We don't lose anything for me by starting him. And I would, as far as Robert's long throws are concerned, I'd agree that they are a weapon. Why wasn't somebody blocking Pinnock? How many fucking headers did he win? I mean, it was just relentless, absolutely relentless. And you can't odds it. I mean, that guy's better with his head than he is with his feet. That is for sure. Because he's awful coming out the back with the ball, Pinnock. But fuck me, can he? I mean, he wins everything. And you've got to be cute. You've got to block him. You've got to hold him. Because all they were doing, wherever it was coming, he was free. And he was like a magnet to that ball. And you've got, we have to nullify that. But all in all, before the game, I said I wanted a clean sheet. We've got that again. Etheridge, for me, head and shoulders man of the match. I thought the defence were excellent. I thought McGree was really, really solid, and then the midfield put a shift in. So, although the combination of things, I think really does set us up for the 6 games that we've all been waiting for. And as Bo, you said, everybody was saying, me included, that under Karanka, the last set of games, we were saying more than likely no points.
Yeah.
And we got 7. So, and we need it because, the results that are going in are just mental, absolutely mental in and around us. I mean, anything from the sort of Chef Wednesday putting in a shift in that, and they look dead and buried. Obviously, Wickham beating, what are deemed to be our biggest rivals at the moment, and then Huddersfield getting nailed 7, and it's just like, what is going on? So I'm glad Stoke lost, and I think that's a good lead into obviously the next game. They're playing for nothing. I think a few players will be playing for contracts, but that's probably about it. So, Carl, just thoughts on. We've talked about Lee's very cute at, I think, like for like formation and try matching teams up. Do you think he will stick with that, or do you think that he's maybe seen the last 4 games where saying he didn't do it with Brentford, but let's be honest, it was probably a little bit more pragmatic than anything else. So, what do you think?
I think he will go. For me, Stoke are a physical team, and I think he'll go to match that physicality. Formation-wise, I don't know, but he certainly will go for the physical element. I think I wouldn't be surprised to see Cosgrove go up top. Whether or not he goes, I think Cosgrove and Duke is a bit of a risk, but I can certainly see Cosgrove starting purely because I think he's got that like leaping, heading ability. He's got a bit more mobility possibly than Duke as well. But I think he's going to go physical. He's going to want to hit them. I think when we played them, feels like fucking forever ago, and I'd done it when we drew with them. It was, we tried to be clever. We tried to protect what we had, and ultimately it failed. So yeah, I think he'll go to be physical. I think he'll go to be positive again. He's proved that we can be positive and it not cost us games. He's done that in 3 of the 4. And even Watford, again, there's the asterisks of that wasn't a 3-0 game. So I think he'll go to match physicality more than anything else. I don't think formation, with Bayer, I just don't know now. I thought he'd going to be a solid 4-4-2 or maybe the 4-3-1-2 maybe, but now it's just like, who knows? He might put Duke at fucking centre-back. You never know, to be honest, just for the fucking height. Which, please don't. That is not my pick. I just want to clarify, not a dream pick, so that ain't going to happen. But yeah, I think physicality is going to be the main thing. I mean, Stoke are as mid-table as you fucking get, I think. I think they've won, drawn, and lost about around the same amount of games. They're not, like you say, they're not really doing anything. They're not going anywhere. So, yeah, I think the physical battle is going to be the one that decides it, I think. And I'd like to see Cosgrove up top and being given an opportunity from the start.
Is that the Carl trademark dream pick?
Dream pick, what, Cosgrove up top or Duke at the back?
Yeah. no, Cosgrove.
No, yeah, Cosgrove would be, he would definitely be my dream pick because of the way that Stoke are at the back. I think I'd definitely chuck him in there. He's got to learn as well somehow. And what better time to chuck him in?
Yeah, exactly. And Tom, just talking about that sort of Stoke game, again, do you think he will match up, as Carl says? Do you think he'll maybe say, well, we proved the point now. We play some good sides. Stoke are there for the taking, and maybe go a little bit more on the front foot. How do you think he'll go?
I think he'll bring back the genius that is 4-4-2. I think he'll bring that back, and we'll probably see Halilovic and Bella. Be good to see Bella back in the squad again. If not McGree, I'd be happy with that, considering how good he was in the last game. But I do think we'll look to take the game to Stoke because we can definitely get something from this. Wouldn't surprise me, actually, if we saw Cosgrove starting. I mean, it would be quite kind of, I don't know, a storytelling, if you will, or something like that. Cosgrove almost moved to Stoke in the summer.
Okay.
Fell through. Wouldn't surprise me if we started him or at least gave him a few more minutes off the bench than we usually do, and he scores against Stoke. So who knows? I'd certainly like to see him start the game because I don't think we've seen anywhere near enough of Sam Cosgrove yet, and it's frustrating because you always want to see a new signing and how they play. So hopefully we can see more of that. And I think this is an ideal game to do it. Physicality is definitely something we need in this game. And I tell you what, if we can nullify Nick Powell, we will dominate Stoke. End of story. Nick Powell is at the heart of Stoke City Football Club right now, based on the fact that ever since they lost Tyrese Campbell, they couldn't win for shit. They've only just started winning a few games since they've lost Tyrese Campbell for the rest of the season. They've only just finally found a formula to pick up a few more points, and that has been through Nick Powell. You stop Nick Powell, you stop Stoke. So I do think it can be as simple as that, and this might be actually an ideal job for someone like Ivan Sunjic in the middle of the park. Just kill the bloke. Just take away Powell's
No.
legs. He doesn't. Nothing else needs to be said. Just break some legs, 2-foot him if needs be, and that's it. Game, set, match. And I do think Blues, if we do kill off Nick Powell, we can really win the game. And I think that would be ideal, really. But it will be more of the same, similar lineup.
Don't fucking tell me your dream.
My dream pick is Sunjic and him to bring the nastiest studs he's got. So, who knows? But I know I'm with Carl on the Cosgrove one. I'd certainly like to see that, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was on the bench again and we saw Juki starting. But I'm not against that because Juki would be a good pick for this game as well. But I tell you what, I would love to see Scott Hogan score against Stoke, just for obviously the rough spell he had there. And I know Stoke fans aren't massive on Scott Hogan because of his ishy spell there. So I feel like it'd be comical, really, of him to score. But yeah, no, I do think we'll go back to the 4-4-2 and really look to get in their face and win that game. I think we'll look to win it 3-0. I think we'll really go in there and
Blimey.
I believe that if we win this game, we...
How many did you say it has?
I said 3 goals. 3 goals to 0. And I think it's doable.
Up until this point, you held it together pretty well.
Yeah, no, I think Danny Bath is shit on his day. So, you slap him up. I feel like you can really win the game. And you get players like Juki or Cosgrove on there, they can do that. So I do think we can really rough them up and look to win that game. And I do feel like it's got one of them 3-0 vibes to it. Proper positive day. And if we can get that result, I think we are virtually safe. We're we're on the sort of cusp of safety. If we can win this game. So no, I'm definitely all positive vibes going into this one, and I think it'll be a solid attacking setup.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be disappointed if McGree doesn't play, regardless of the system, because I think he's been overlooked when he's played well under the madness of Karanka, and I'd like to think that Bowyer's just he's given his chance. He could have given him the hook at any point in the second half if he felt he wasn't delivering for him. And I felt, McGree really lasted out that game well, considering he hadn't really played that much. So it's not necessarily a dream pick. I think it's an obvious one. I think it goes against everything that Bowie's about by not playing him. I agree with Cosgrove. We need to see it. So I'm not going to say again. I think it's an obvious pick, and it's already been obviously Carl's dream pick. So obviously, I'm not going to counter that because that's fucking tried and tested. Now that Terrell's off, he's injured, and there's a space on the bench. I'd like to see Simmons get a go on the bench. I think it's these sort of games where you've got a load of meatheads, 20 to go. If you can get a kid on who's got a bit of pace about him, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see him have a go. Again, I've said it before. Nobody can tell me that he ain't ready. He's been at Man City for a long time. We paid money for him. Lots of clubs are in for him. I think he probably is. Do I think he could have done what Lecco did against Brentford for the time that he came on? Yeah, definitely I can.
I think he scored Lecco's chance.
Well, yeah, but this is the point. So, and it's a bit like Cosgrove, isn't it? It's like you're not losing anything by putting him on instead of Djukovic. The only argument you would have is Djukovic is very handy to have when we're defending throw-ins and corners.
Yeah.
Because he's yeah, but if you're picking your centre forward based on what he can do at dead balls when we're defending, it's a pretty fucking poor effort, to be honest. So yeah, it's going to be physical. I think on that basis, Sunjic and Gardner playing in the middle. I don't think Harper will get in, albeit he's not shy. I'd like to see him in there. Defence picks itself at the moment, and again, I'm only ever going to compliment them when they play well, and I thought they were excellent, all of them, Dean included. I thought they were excellent against Brentford. Really, really good. It's different now, isn't it? I think that you look all the sides that we've played against, maybe with the exception of the first game under Bowyer. This is a sort of a non-event of a team that we're playing, which brings its own pressure around, okay, well, you've got a great record against the top six. Have a go at Stoke, who've got fuck all to play for. But I go back to when we played Borough and beat them, and I know it was under Karanka, but I think the principle is valid. We need to earn the right first 20. And I think if we do that, we will, I think, soundly beat them. If we take away what they're good at, which is not a lot, but they're very physical, and dominate them, they're already on the beach. They're done. And they won't want to play us, in the way that we're playing at the moment. Fletcher's a pain in the arse. I think he will put himself about a bit. He'll ruffle a few feathers, so we'll just see how he goes. But yeah, I'm positive going into it for lots and lots of reasons, and I think it will be a bit of Bowyer bingo. I do. Well, fuck knows who he's going to pick, where they're going to play. But I think he's going to give us and the team are going to give us a performance that we're happy with. So as we wrap it up, predictions, Carl, let's hear what you think. Is it going to be a dream pick hat trick, or are you going to maybe pare back a bit?
I don't think it'll quite be a dream pick hat trick. He'll definitely get one. But I think we'll score a couple, but I can't see us running far. I'll go 2-0 Blues, Cosgrove to get one. And I don't know, let's just pick someone random who ain't scored. Let's go for Raheem Harper. Let's have him banging one in as well, just for a laugh.
Fabulous. Tom, obviously you're sticking with your 3-0.
I am, yes, 3-0. We'll go brace for Hogan, 1 for Cosgrove, Roberts to absolutely kill Stephen Fletcher, Gardner to keg Powell, and we're all good. We're across the line. Life's good, and it's an easy 3-0. I'm sure we'll look back on this, and if there's any Stoke fans watching, feel free to clip this up and take the piss when you turn us over 5-0. It is what it is. I don't care. I do feel like we might win 3-0. I'm confident for a change, but maybe it's the hope that will kill me. Who knows? But at least Bowyer bingo, I think, because it rhymes, it's positive. There we are.
Indeed. I fancy us. I do. I fancy us. I think it'll be 3-1. I think we will be that much more committed against, and nullify their threat. I think we're going to come out the traps, all guns blazing. We're not going to be faced with brilliant, passive, but not like when you play against Brentford, when one slip of concentration, you're fucked. So, no, I think 3-1. I'd love to see Cosgrove score. Love to see him start. I'd love to see Hogan score, because again, if he can keep his confidence up, he could get plenty against Rotherham, and that's still the key game for me. Yeah. I wouldn't be disappointed with a point. I think we keep the meter running, keep the points going, and then when it does get to Rotherham Derby, we spank them both, and then we're clear. So, but fortunately, the manager doesn't think like that, so he will be going for the jugular, and rightly so. And let's hope we can get that sort of victory. That I think this is the first time for ever that we've all predicted a fucking victory. So that could be a loss. What do we know? But anyway, guys, again, thank you for your contributions, Carl. As ever, a king of the dream pick. Hopefully, he gets a start. And many thanks, my friend.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me on again.
And Tom, a fantastic abuse of the Stoke team. I think that's been your crowning glory.
Thank you very much.
And let's hope we. Well, no, you're welcome. And yet again, in different ways, with this side's got so many different attributes. I just can't believe I'm saying it. But it does go to show. We've been saying we've got a great squad, and I think they're proving it now. So let's hope as we go into the Stoke game, they will prove it once more. But between now and then, stay safe and keep right on.